Hit it, Anthony. We didn't need that. We were good. Welcome. Dustin's Vinyl. My man, Anthony Kapfer. On the electric axe. Nice. That was great.
Thanks.
I love that. Was a beautiful kind of groovy opening, and then Jay still had to be like, "Okay, we're live." And I love Jay. One day he's just gonna shoot me. It's gonna be great. That'll be the ComedyHub special we've all been looking for. Jay goes after Dustin. But thank you, Jay. Thanks for hosting this wonderful show. And you got the Kiss background. I make a very ugly Paul Stanley, I tell you. I don't think that's a good look for me.
Is that? Oh, I didn't even know. I couldn't tell who was even who.
Yeah,
there.
I'm Paul Stanley. Are you Peter Criss?
I don't even think my face is one of these guys.
Oh, it's just me. Is that Adam? That's going to be Adam is Peter Criss. And then Jeff is definitely Ace Frehley. So you must be Gene. But it's not Gene. They didn't change it at all. But
yeah, it's not changed.
You just look that much like him.
He was my dad.
Whatever
or he still is.
Whatever this app is. I thought your dad died. Come on.
Yeah, that's why I said was.
Oh, was.
And then I remember that Gene Simmons is alive.
Barely. He's alive. Yeah. He's making money. That guy makes so much money. It's unbelievable. I've told this story 1,000 times, but I saw him at the Jacob Javits Center, and he was selling the Kiss coffins. It was crazy. And I've never
selling those at shows.
At shows, he was like this. It's like you have like a product at like a conference thing or whatever. He's like the spokesman of the Kiss Kaufman, so he's like there. Yeah. And this limo pulls up, and he gets out with all these two hot girls, their boobs out and everything. And I've never ran up to anybody in my life. Maybe I guess 2 other people when I was a kid, but but I was an adult at this point. It wasn't excuse. It's different when Ric Flair's at that airport and you're like 7. Oh, yeah. This was I was well into my 30s, and I ran up to him like a kid. I was like, "Can I get an autograph from Gene Simmons? I love you," that kind of thing. I was like, and he's just like, and it was funny because he expected like a mad rush, and there was a bunch of people, and I was the only one that kind of went up to him. It was like one of the guys. He was looking back like, "Oh, here goes this again," and like I'm the only one. It was like a bunch of dudes that were not his demo.
That's pretty funny.
I don't know. Kiss is a big part of my life. I told you about Kiss. The church, I've said this a million times too, but it's still interesting. They made us burn our Kiss albums.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that stuff's like ridiculous.
My aunt tried to take a picture of Gene Simmons like before they revealed their faces. I don't know. So this would be like 1980 or whatever. I don't know.
Okay.
He was in a restaurant, and she had a camera. She tried to take a picture, and then his security people came over, and they opened up the film. They made her give the camera over, and they just exposed all the film because they hadn't showed their faces yet.
That's amazing. That's a great story. Thanks for sharing that. That's so funny. Yeah, but that was a big deal. I mean, that was like, they were just that. Like, can you imagine? I bet like that was the gig. Is like, I bet there were a bunch of photographers in a room, and everybody's like, get a picture of Kiss without the makeup.
Any of them, even Peter Criss.
They were like, that's $30,000 each. Whoever could come up with that, you know what I mean? Like, I bet it was like, there was some motivation to get those pictures. That's so funny. And then I remember, I'm a little younger than you, older, and I remember when that came out that they, when they, took the makeup off, and it was like, that was a to-do, man.
Yeah.
It's like a 4-star press conference. Everybody's talking about it, chit chat. It was everywhere. Like that was the thing, like Kiss without their makeup. And then we saw them without their makeup, and then we're all like, "Oh, put the makeup back on.
Please put it back on."
Ugliest dudes I've ever seen in my life. Not even. I mean, Paul's pretty handsome, but that's it. Everybody else hit a truck.
Yeah,
and you're just like, what? And Gene Simmons is just, it's just this ghoulish, he's just gigantic, weird man. And then I remember
He is not attractive.
No, not at all. And then he, has that cow tongue, and it's like the whole thing is just crazy. I remember I was at a Cult concert. Of course I was. And I remember I looked up in a balcony and Gene Simmons was just making out with some girl that was not his wife at the time. That's a big to-do.
Classic Kiss. That guy's banged so many women. It doesn't matter what he looks like. That's the thing. He's Shrek with a tongue, and nobody cares because he's a rock star. He's not even a good bass player. He gets away with everything across the board.
He's an incredible businessman. He put that Kiss on brand. Like, he's made that band so much money, but he's a showman. You know what I mean? He's a showman. That's what he is. I mean, I saw them live and they were amazing. At the Garden, their 15th farewell tour.
Oh yeah.
And it was great. He's flying across the thing. So, yeah, I mean, he's, you don't have to be a great bass player. I hate to say that. But you know what? The reason I say that is because when somebody is a good bass player, you notice. Like, there's, you know what I mean? Like, you can kind of, like, I think it was like U2. Who's the dude? There's Adam Clayton. Jeff will know all this. But the bass player from U2, he's not that good of a bass player. They taught him how to play bass.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, they taught him how. So,
no one else wanted to be in U2. They were like, we need a bass player.
I think he was a friend. Jeff's a big U2 guy. He'll know all that. But this was Kiss is the Insane Clown Posse. Is that? I think Kiss is a little different. Kiss is definitely more mainstream. I mean, Kiss won a Grammy. I mean, it was off of Beth, but it was still a Grammy. I don't think Insane Clown Posse is. They can't even make it to the parking lot of the Grammys. You know what I mean? Nobody's letting them through security.
I don't think so. No.
Yeah, those fans are fucking nuts. And
Juggalos, yeah.
We had friends that. Joey Gay and Joe Matarese and like all these comedians, they performed. They used to have comedians open for them, and like
at the gathering, right?
Yeah, Joey Gay would have stories like throwing bottles and stuff. And Joe Matarese having a meltdown, and like I think Joey Gay was the only one that got him because he's that kind of comic. Like, he can go in hard. Joey Gay, good friend of ours, comedian. Check him out, Joey Gay, funny comedian. But anyway, he could go after those clown posse people.
Yeah, it makes sense.
What are they called? The
Juggalos.
The Juggalos. Hey, you're not in yet. I hate that chick. I hate that. You do it all the time. This is the most unprofessional show. Oh my God. All right. It's a joke, guys. I'm kidding. This is not a show. This is us talking to ourselves, pretending like people like what we're talking about. Okay. So it's Country Month. And before I bring in Jeff, it's Country Month. I know he'll like this album because, he likes sexy chicks. And this is Tanya Tucker.
Mm-hmm.
Tanya Tucker. Do you know Tanya Tucker, Anthony?
I did not know.
Okay. Let's just say before there was Miley Cyrus, she's basically kind of a sexy Tammy Wynette, kind of a fusion of kind of like a more upbeat version of that. And then like she kind of had her own sound. Like, it was something that we hadn't quite heard before. It took country to kind of a sexier, rocky sound, kind of rock sound.
Yeah. Okay.
She got the leather pants.
Oh, yeah.
And, what is her big single? When I die, I may not go to heaven, but Texas is as close as I've been. So we were all singing that as kids. But, and this is the album. I think this is from my family's collection. I think that's where I got it.
Is that how you got? It's to me, it's really funny that like if a song sings about Texas and you're from Texas, it's like a cool thing that you like. But when there are songs about New York, I feel like most New York people are like, oh, that's so lame.
It depends, dude. I mean, Lou Reed had every third song was about New York. You know what I mean? Like, there's certain people that are very about New York, and I think people are cool with it. But, I don't know. I hear what you're saying, but I mean, Biggie was all about Brooklyn shit. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, but rappers are always doing that.
I think it's done in a different way though. A song like that singing about
because they're black.
Like if comparing New York to heaven.
Well, you haven't been to Texas enough.
It wouldn't work. Well, you when you mention New York in like a rock and roll song or something, you have to be realistic about it.
Yeah. Not necessarily. I mean, what about, New York song with like Alicia Keys and everything. Like New York. They basically whenever there's a song about New York, they're basically like it's the only town that matters. So it's the same. It's the same mentality in Texas. It's the exact same mentality. Like if you can make it here, you can make it anywhere. Mentality. It's the same thing. Like, you know what I mean? Nobody's saying that about Cleveland, but everybody's saying it about.
They do say Cleveland rocks.
It does it. Even that museum is lame. But it's like, ooh, look at all the jackets. But it's like, but that's the thing. New York, I think that's why I was attracted to New York, because I was like, oh, I need to find another place that's a narcissistic city, another place that thinks they're better than everybody else. New York. Let's do it. Speaking of, this is interesting. This is another album. And you would think that it was recorded in Texas. It's Merle Haggard, name of your dog.
Yeah.
And this is Merle Haggard Takes Philadelphia. This is recorded live in Philadelphia. Merle Haggard. This is a really cool album. I love country albums live. They're really good because they just say all kinds of inappropriate things. And this is, if you don't know Merle Haggard, he's the Mount Rushmore of country music, and he's an incredible songwriter. And this album, is great. And this is pretty early too. This is early. What have we got here? 1974 or something, I believe. But this is a great album. It's good. Get you some Merle Haggard in your life. And it's in Philadelphia, which is great. All right, now I'm going to bring in our sexy guests that just couldn't wait. They just can't hold it in their pants. They're very funny, great, informative people who way know more about music than me. I'm going to bring them in. Give it up for Jeffrey, Paul, Adam Holtz, everybody.
Hello, gentlemen.
Hey, guys. There you go. See? On cue. It sounds so much better, Jeff. So who's the bassist from U2? What's his name?
No, you're right. It is Adam Clayton. And
Adam Clayton.
Yeah, they've been friends and jamming since they were kids. Yeah. But going back to what you said about Kiss, I mean, that was such a big deal. Adam, I don't know if you remember, they did an MTV special. And it was the unmasking Kiss. But the thing is, there was no Peter and there was no Ace in the band. It was Eric Carr and Vinnie Vincent who were in the band.
Oh, that's unmasked. Right, because Lick It Up was the album that came out.
That's right. So and so they had already had their big falling out. So you got to see Gene and who's the other guy? Gene and Paul. Right. Paul. I thought that was interesting. But with Adam Clayton, he was actually a little bit more accomplished than the Edge. The Edge wound up. He was the one who had to come up to speed with the rest of the band.
I'd always heard that they taught him how to play. That's always what I heard. That's what Rolling Stone told me, and they know everything about music, Jeff.
I hate Rolling Stone. You know my feeling. But I got to work with U2 for a couple of years, but I didn't work with Adam. I actually worked with Bono and his family, because when we were assigned like that on like off days. Really, what it wasn't during the show, we were doing production, and then with Tanya Tucker. Dustin, do you remember I don't know if she was married, but I'm pretty sure she was in a pretty heavy relationship with Glenn Campbell.
Yes, she was.
And that was kind of like a big thing back then.
Yeah, there was a lot of those power country couples, Tammy Wynette, George Jones, they never ended well because everybody was drinking and abusing each other. Yeah, I don't know if they ever recorded together. Like, George and Tammy has some of the best albums you'll ever hear as duet country albums. They're just phenomenal. But I don't know. Do you know I wonder if Tanya and Glenn ever put an album? I don't think they did. I would think
they may have appeared on like a special. I think I do remember them seeing them together. She was a big Glenn Campbell fan.
She was a big deal, Tanya Tucker, when she came out. She was sexy and fun, and she had leather pants, and she was sassing all over the place. She was great.
Yeah, right. She was kind of, maybe kind of like what
have a country Pat Benatar. She was. She had that vibe. I would say that just a little more, Farrah Fawcett.
Yeah, everybody was copying off of Pat Benatar. I would say she was kind of like maybe like what's it? Taylor Swift was when she first came up, and she was the young hot
Taylor
one.
Swift isn't sexy to me. There's nothing sexual. Like, I'm more attracted to
I agree
Anthony.
with you.
Yeah, like it's like Taylor Swift is like, it just feels like there's no sexuality there at all. She's cute. She's a beautiful girl, but it doesn't. Tanya was sexy, man.
She was like a little dirty.
She was sexy. Well, you have to be a little dirty to be sexy. That's what people don't understand. It's like you got to sexy, dirty. Sexy's supposed to be dirty. Yeah, I'm just Taylor Swift looks like she's 12 to me still. You know what I mean? I'm not into that. I need a woman. She didn't feel like a woman to me. She feels like like that girl. It's like, I don't know. I think she's too good for you in high school. I don't like her with the sweaters and you know what I mean? Like I just don't. I don't dig
sweaters. With the sweaters.
Like she got a good body. She got like a good body, but she's like covered up with a sweater. I don't know.
Sweaters and a shirt. Like she wears pants.
Pants. No, I don't like girls who wear sweaters. I want to see some cleavage. You know what I mean?
Who wants to go with a sweater?
This show's gonna get canceled, but that's okay. Tanya Tucker, get you some. She's hot, and the music's good too. This is called TNT. That's how hot she is.
It's called TNT.
She's in front of dynamite boxes or whatever those called, crates or whatever those are. Yeah, explosive danger, high explosives, because she's hot.
I like it. I like how much attitude it has.
Right.
Just the cover.
She's very 80s, late 70s, 80s. I'll just so when you go into it, you got to remember that. But it's a good time. It's a good time. It's fun music. Like she's having a good time. I really felt she spiced up country. Like it was, it was a little boring.
She made it for younger people to kind of get into. It wasn't like your father's music anymore.
And then Urban Cowboy came out and all that country got a little hipper, but before that it was just kind of George Jones and very melodic country and Merle Haggard and
Conway
Twitty, Charlie Pride, all that kind of stuff. So, but it was Tanya's a good time. But Merle, you like Merle? Jeff, seemed like you like a little Merle Haggard.
I kind of like his attitude. I kind of like that. He's like a no nonsense guy. He's gonna come out. He's gonna play. But I'm really not. I never really was into his music all that much. I just wasn't exposed to it as much.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying I don't like it, but what I heard, I did like.
I think that's the key to music is like, how much are you exposed to? I think because when I see somebody that doesn't like good music, I'm always like, yeah, but did you live by a college town that had a radio station? You know what I mean? Like it really depends. Like you get lucky. Like, how I got good music? I know you hate this, but Rolling Stones, when they would do the top 10 college albums, that's how I started kind of having a better kind of knowledge of music, was going after those, top 10 college albums, because they weren't the mainstream. So you would get some cool, the Pixies or, different things that you weren't, replacements, things like that you wouldn't definitely wouldn't get on the radio. In Texas, with the, hey, everybody, this is Johnny, that kind of radio station, so I don't know.
What about at home? Like for me, my father wasn't into rock and roll, but he was into country. And he was the one that got me to Willie Nelson. And he loved Johnny Cash and Conway Twitty and like all like the old, like Grand Ole Opry guys.
Yeah.
Okay. And when we talked about Johnny Paycheck, I remember him going to the Johnny Paycheck concert. Was your dad or mom into music and exposure to anything?
Yeah, I mean, we talked about this. My mom took me to Zeppelin and, that kind of stuff. So,
That's crazy.
I definitely had a good... And Anthony didn't have a dad growing up, so let's make this depressing. But...
but my mom listened to all kinds of
Your mom liked good music.
And,
she did. Yeah. She liked the Ramones and stuff.
B-52s and stuff,
Cool.
I mean, my parents listened to, they were high a lot. So they listened to that kind of music, Blood, Sweat, and Tears and...
Great music.
Cheech and Chong albums and Janis Joplin. Yeah, we had good stuff. Whatever. It is about your surroundings sometimes. What your parents listen to, helps. What about you, Adam? Your dad, you found some of his collection, correct?
Yeah. And actually, my dad was he had a very eclectic taste when it came to music, and mostly he played rock. He played a lot of folk. He was into country, but I was, country is a genre that I'm not really that knowledgeable in. I think, especially in the 90s, I just never really connected with mainstream country. And it really wasn't that. I mean, I didn't really know anybody who was listening to it up here in New Jersey.
Sure.
Yeah, it was a Jersey country station, though.
Yeah, there's a good New York country station now. Actually, it's not great, but it's it's decent. I think new country is getting better. I think it's definitely it's getting, there's some good people coming through. You know, you were talking about how you discovered Eric Church, and there's Chris Stapleton, Sturgill Simpson. Like, there's some good people coming through.
Oh yeah.
But this album today, I'm not that familiar with, but my in-laws are, which I thought was interesting. And because Leah's family, they're very into music and folk music and different, you know, kinds of they had all the Beatle albums growing up and stuff like that. So she has a very good taste in music, but they were into this band that Adam chose. And I'm not that familiar with them, but I really enjoyed the album. But she told me that her parents loved them. So I thought that was interesting. So just when you think, you know, in-laws can't be groovy, right? You know? It's like, who knew? So Adam, how about that intro? Take it away, right? Buddy. What do we got today?
All right, so we're going to be talking about Neko Case, Blacklisted. This is her third full-length album. This was this was released in 2002 on Bloodshot Records. It was the first album where it was just credited to her. Before this, she had two other albums that were Neko Case and her boyfriends. And actually, this will be interesting for Anthony. I think a couple of the members of it were members of Shadowy Men from Shadowy Planet.
Oh, interesting.
And so this is so Neko Case is kind of the queen of alt country. She and I mean, especially from this album, you'll see it's very eclectic. There's a lot of different influences there. It's not just country. She in fact, this album was kind of her pushing towards what people call kind of a country noir sound to it. Yeah. And it's the songs are moodier. There's a hint of darker undertones. It's a lot of the songs are really melancholy. She actually cited David Lynch as an influence on this album. It's and I mean, like, there's some bleakness to some of the songs. There's also this kind of downcast beauty, but there's also this vibrancy and this kind of vibrant atmosphere that really owes to her voice, which is just so powerful, and it's really like a kind of a force of nature. And she also is just an incredible songwriter. And so this song, actually go through some of the songs here. There's 12 original songs by her, and there's 2 covers. And I'm just going to start with the covers because Running Out of Fools, her Aretha Franklin cover, is just phenomenal on here. And probably the best indicator of her vocal range is you'll find that on that song. She also does the Look For Me, I'll Be Around is the other cover she does on this album. It is a Sarah Vaughan cover. I hadn't heard it before. It's a very loungy, kind of smoky, lounge style, sultry song about desperation, devotion. It's a really, really well done song. Besides that, so Things That Scare Me, the first song on here, that is very much like I feel that's kind of like an outlaw Western song. It'd be perfect for a Western. It has some Johnny Cash in it. Deep Red Bells is all about the Green River Killer. It's a pretty dark song. It's also one of the strongest songs on the album. Outro with Bees, which is the shortest song on here. And it's a song about self-destruction, about a doomed relationship. And she reprises it at the end. I don't know if you guys heard the bonus track at the end where she reprises it. And it has a very David Lynch feel to it, where her voice is sent through a kind of like a really tinny radio. Some of the other songs, Pretty Girls, it's a song about a visit she had to Planned Parenthood, seeing all these girls that were there for abortions. I Missed the Point and Stinging Velvet are her more traditional country songs on here. And I think this, to me, at least the centerpiece of the album is I Wish I Was the Moon, which is a song all about her father. And it's a sad and lonely, but it's still kind of a beautiful song. And I think actually the last three songs are her strongest. I Wish I Was the Moon, Running Out of Fools, and Ghost Wiring. And I mean, I just think this is a fantastic album. I never saw her solo. I've seen her perform. She's a member of New Pornographers, which indie supergroup, and it's very interesting to hear her with her solo, more country leaning music. With the New Pornographers is a power pop band, so just a very different style.
Very cool. Great, man. Anthony, how'd you feel about it?
I liked it. This is much closer to the sound I'm looking for when I'm putting on some country. I liked it a lot, and I wasn't even sure how to describe it. What was it? Country noir?
Country noir.
That's pretty perfect because it has a dark sound, and I didn't put the David Lynch thing together, but it almost sounds kind of like those songs could be on Twin Peaks or something.
Oh yeah.
So I like it a lot. Creepy and kind of just that eerie kind of country sound. That's what I like.
Jeffrey Paul.
Yeah, I liked it a lot too. I thought her voice was very pure, very melodic, very original. I really did enjoy this. I didn't know much about Neko Case going into this, and when you put it on in the background and do stuff, and there were a lot of songs that caught your ear. I think what's very important about an album sometimes is that first song. You got to get like a hook. You have to have a catcher, and I really think things that scare me, like that opening guitar riff. It's simple. It's on an acoustic guitar. It's really, really good. I mean, it drew you in right away. The song goes kind of fast. I mean, there's not a lot of really long songs on this album, and so if you didn't like something, and there was very little I didn't like. I thought they were all really good songs. I didn't know Deep Red Bells was about the Green River Killer, but I liked it. I liked the song.
Yeah.
But I don't see it. I don't know if I saw it as dark as you did. I wasn't really listening too hard on the lyrics. I was just really listening to the strength of her voice and just enjoying how she sounded. I really think I don't know if there's another singer I can really compare it to in terms of just of pure beauty in her voice. So I really, really did enjoy her voice. I have a question for you though, Adam. When you saw her live, was she able to duplicate that sound?
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, but also when I saw her live, she was performing with New Pornographers. So I mean, her voice has always been a strength, and it was just a different style because it's just more pop oriented for the New Pornographers versus her country style here. But I mean, I would love to see her live. I know she's actually playing in Denver in I think June.
You know who I would say she reminds me a little bit of, at least that style of music. Do you remember in the late 90s, Natalie Merchant?
Oh yeah.
That's who I'm kind of like thinking. Yeah, it is a beautiful voice. Like I'm going this Friday night to see two female singers, Lucy Hale and Amy Lee, who are two of my favorites. But Neko Case, she, in her voice, I don't hear the power that the other two have. But again, she has like a beauty and a charm about her singing. So I really did like this. And like I said, I didn't. In fact, I saw Neko. I thought this was a guy until I put it on. I'm thinking Neko White also, Dustin.
Don't give him more promotion. That's I'm the king. I'm the king. Hilarious. Hold on, I'm trying to look something up. This album blew, huh? No, I'm kidding. I always hate it. I always hate it when we all like the same album. Then it's a boring show. But that's just how it is. This was a great album. Her voice kind of reminded me of Margot Timmons, of the Cowboy Junkies, and that's Adam and I have this thing for the Cowboy Junkies. He was going to buy that vinyl. I've been looking for it as well, and it's. I always enjoy an album when, it's like 4 or 5 different sounds in the album. You know what I mean? Like it's not just one thing all the way through, it's, at one point, it sounds very folk and alt and then very vintage country, almost like 1940s country or something.
Yeah.
And so, and then, there's a lot of different sounds with this and, just the fact that they're, making some references to things, and with the lynch or whatever, it makes it even cooler, because this is the kind of country I like. This is kind of what I am. I'm a product of a band like this, where it's just like a little bit of this and that and this, and you kind of take it all in, and you make country cool again. You make country, not this thing that Adam was talking about with that 90s pop stuff. So it's like, this is cool that they're kind of taking all these sounds. And I didn't spend enough time with this album, so I feel like this is like a one night stand that I can't stop thinking about. So it's definitely, I want to get back to this album and really kind of absorb it more, because I feel like it's up my alley. Even though my in-laws like it, I'm still going to think it's cool. But I enjoyed the different genres of country in this, and I feel like it's a solid album. And I just I feel dumb for not knowing them. It's like once in a while you hear good music and you're like, how do I not know this band? This is up my alley. And so that just happens in music, and I feel like
you're happy when you discover it.
I'm never quite that happy, Jeff. What I tell my therapist. My therapist has been trying to do this for years, get me happy. No, but I enjoy the discovery, but I also feel like, this is a band that I should, especially 2002, I mean, they've been around. I mean, so, I feel like I shouldn't have missed this band. But like we were talking before, where do you hear the music? Like, where did you hear them, Adam? Like, how were you exposed to this band?
I think it was through some top 10 lists.
There we go.
I think it was, I think
David Letterman. He always knows.
Were you saying Stones college album, probably?
Yeah, I mean, I there was a store called CD World that was all over New Jersey, and they every year they would have a bunch of free magazines, but one of them was their year-end top 10 list, and they had a lot of their staff just put out their top 10 lists.
Yeah,
and I would just go through them and just go pick out a lot of these bands I'd never heard of before.
That's great. I mean, you really do have to seek out new music, or otherwise you just get bombarded with the same 4 songs on the radio or whatever, So
that's why FM radio stinks.
Yeah, some I like Jack FM. I think that's good. They just play different things. There's no DJ. You heard Jack? Isn't that national? Jack
I've
FM.
heard of it.
No. Yeah,
I don't really listen to
everything
radio.
on a satellite.
Well, it'll be like Iggy Pop, and then it'll be like Prince. Like, they really go out of their way, and it's like there's no DJ. They just like have somebody program it, and then it's very all over the place. It's not one type of music. It's like there'll be country and then jazz, and I don't know. It's pretty cool. Doing a plug for Jack FM, but
official sponsor of the show.
We have no sponsors. We're gonna be 80 going, you think we'll get paid one day? All right. But that was great. Thank you for that find. And Adam, I think I'll definitely be seeking this band out. And
and the new Pornographers. I listen to them too.
I love porno. So
check out with them. Check out the Electric Version and Mass Romantic. Both great albums.
Great. I'll definitely check that out. That sounds great. So I just like it when people take country, because the thing is like people sometimes, they write country off, and it's like, it's cool to take it somewhere different. It doesn't have to be the hokey regular shit. So this is cool that they kind of took a departure, yet stayed with the classics of, kind of that old sound, which I like, that kind of radio 1930s, Hank Sr. kind of stuff. But Grand Ole Opry is what I was trying to get. That's why I was going to describe it as a kind of a haunted Grand Ole Opry sound. And that would be my plug on this.
Well, there's an interesting story that people believe the title Blacklisted was basically alluding to her being banned for life from the Grand Ole Opry for taking off her shirt during one of her performances.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
I read that.
Interesting. Blacklisted. That's the name of Anthony's Live in Denver album. Huh? We got jokes. All right. So the next album is, I didn't do tons of research on this because, that's what Jeff and Adam are for. But this is a new album by somebody that, you ever just try to I do this with a lot of things in my life. I do this with certain kinds of food. I do it with certain kinds of friends, people, maybe not friends, but like acquaintances that I think, I don't know if I like this person. And then I let them back in, and then I go, oh, I really don't like this person. And so I do that with a lot of different things in my life. Sometimes I'll be like, I like shrimp. And then I'll be like, I'll try it again and be like, nah, I hate shrimp. And then why did I try it a second time? I know I hate it. Elvis Costello is one of these artists that nice.
Okay, you get the point.
No, I love it. I'm going with it. I'm not mad at all. You can interrupt with the guitar. That's always acceptable.
Don't use your mouth.
Just don't use your mouth. I'll never say that. But the thing is, so this is kind of an artist that I respect a lot. I think they're definitely interesting, but I can't quite get into them. And so very much like Bruce Springsteen and John Mellencamp, people that are doing...
You're putting Elvis Costello in the Springsteen category?
He's up there, Anthony.
Yeah. Well, Springsteen's talented. Springsteen's very talented. Elvis Costello is taking risks that these guys may not be taking. But but also I feel like, I don't know. I've seen him live. I saw him at the Beacon doing an acoustic set. I've owned a few CDs over the years. I loved his performances on SNL. I think he's a kooky, weird guy, and I like what he wants to do, but I don't know if I feel any different now from this album. This is his 32nd studio album. The Boy Named If. The full title is this: The Boy Named If and Other Children's Stories. So I feel like he's hacking you, Anthony, with
Songs for Children to Cry To, streaming everywhere right now.
He's hacking you. And this is cool. And I like this guy, but I don't know. It doesn't mean that I'm compatible with it musically. But I feel like, but when I was in high school, man, there was the song Veronica was played to death. Yeah. And it was this song that's like, when I hear it, I go, no, and I scream. It's kind of like The Streets Have No Name by U2. When I hear it, I just want to pull my eyes out in my ears, and I can't take it anymore just because I've heard it so many times. So I think I kind of departed from him from that, but I feel like that this album was a chance for me to redeem that love and see if I could find it again. But I thought it was a cool album overall. I think the idea that he was I think this quote was, they take our last days of bewildered boyhood into mortifying moment when you're told to stop acting like a child. And so I get what that is, because I feel like as comedians, we're basically children. So I understand what that is. And people want us to grow up. I mean, look at you, Anthony, you're not 19, but you still dress like that. I get it. Look at me. I could be your granddad and I'm dressed like this. So it's like, that's what it is. It's like, I love the idea of that. And this is a really cool kind of promo album. I think it's an 88 page hard book story edition that goes with the album, which is really cool. The fact that they're making albums during this time is cool. I think it was like, who was it? I think the bass player was in France, and they kind of recorded some stuff and sent it over. So I kind of pieced that together. And this is cool. And there's some good songs on here. The first song, Farewell Okay, is good. I liked Mistook Me for a Friend was cool. And there's some cool stuff on here. I'm just trying to get into my Elvis Costello. Maybe if I wore glasses, I'd be more into him. I don't know. But I'm trying to get into this Elvis Costello world, and I'm sure you guys are into it by your reactions to everything. And he basically reminds me of you a lot, Anthony. So I can see you really liking this dude. But this is,
if he's
I'd rather listen to you, to be honest. But
it's
but he's definitely ultra talented, and he's got some kind of Picasso to him where he's taking some cool risks. But it's just not for me, and I'm just being honest. But that's, and the fact that he's Elvis and Costello. You're taking, I don't know, you're two names that maybe you didn't earn. But anyway, this is my just my honesty. That's all. And so we'll go with Jeff. Jeff, how do you feel about this?
Okay, I see this
Elvis Costello in general.
Okay, in general, I love him. I absolutely love Elvis Costello. I think he is brilliant. I think he's a genius. I see this much, much different than you do. In fact, I'm going to go out and know it's only January, but I could easily see this as being one of my favorite albums of 2022 when the year is over. That's how much I loved it. I thought this was really good, different sounds. I thought there was if anything, there was a Bowie undertone to this. And and he's Elvis Costello played with everybody. Most recently, he was been writing songs with Paul McCartney. It doesn't get any better than that. I haven't gotten this excited and really excited about an Elvis Costello record since probably The Other Side of Summer, which is to me one of the great songs of all time. It just tells you a different story of like how everyone has like a great time during summer. He's giving you a different perspective on it. I thought the first song, Farewell OK, should have been the song that closes the album. Okay, I could see that in a live performance ending the show. But then like Boy Named If was good. I mean, Penelope Halfpenny was good. I had this on, and I would go back, and it was like before I would go and play something else, I would want to hear these tunes again, especially maybe the first 4 to 5 tracks on the album. I really, really thought it was good. Thought My Most Beautiful Mistake was a really good one. Paint Me the Red Rose Blue was a different type of sound. And when you listen to it, a second and third time, you heard different noises in it. He's taken risks. And he's in his upper 60s, and he's still making good, vibrant music. And I can't say enough about Elvis Costello. I mean, he's not rehashing, the old playbook. He's right. He's always had this great knack of writing catchy hooks, and I don't think he lost it. At age 67, I think of what he is.
Yeah, I mean, you know what it is? Nothing jumps out at me when I listen to it. I think it's good music, but I never want to repeat anything. It's always like it's a good album, from the top to bottom. But there's never like, oh, I love this song, let me hear it again. Like that doesn't happen to me when I listen to Elvis Costello. You
didn't hear that in the opening track?
No, not really. I mean, it was good, and it's not about it not being good. It's just
it's not for him, I guess.
No, he froze. Actually, saying he's making his point.
That's how angry he is.
Just about it's like some people. Am I?
He froze again.
You froze a little bit.
Did I? Yeah. Now I got the Jeff Cricket internet.
Right.
When he's in his basement.
Come upstairs.
When he's in his basement, I'm upstairs. Yeah, I'm right on the street. All right, are we good? All right.
Yeah, you're good.
Okay. All right. Let's go, Adam.
All right. I approached this album with a bit of apprehension, especially because this is what is he? He has 32 albums. 30.
Yeah, this is the 32nd album. Yeah,
32nd album, and he's late into his career, and a lot of times that's when everything just falls apart. But
Jesus, some ageism here. I love it.
But no, I really enjoyed this album, and I was trying to figure out what he. I mean, there's not really much you can define his sound by. You hear this, it's an Elvis Costello album. I did hear some of the Bowie undertones that Jeff was talking about before. Yeah. But I mean, there's so much I liked on here. What If I Can't Give You Anything But Love? Mistook Me for a Friend. The Man You Love to Hate, Trick Out the Truth. I thought those were all fantastic. And I've only gone through this a few times. I know I'll probably be going through it a lot more.
Yeah, I would listen to it again, but it doesn't mean that I love it. You know what I mean? Like, I think it's good music. It's just, I'm just not wild for it. You know what I mean? And, I mean, genius. I mean, I think most people, I don't know, might say that, but I think he's really good, at the kind of music that he plays. And I feel like he draws from a lot of different people. And I love that, as I said before about the Neko Case. Like, I like people that are taking different genres. Yeah. But, it's a good album. I just didn't go crazy for it. How about you, Anthony? How'd you feel about it?
I liked it a lot. I really loved the first 2 Elvis Costello albums. And I feel like this one was the best one since this year's model, I think.
Wow.
Well, that's how I felt about,
What?
That's how I felt about the Foo Fighters album. That it was as good as the first.
As good as the first 2 Elvis Costello. I liked it. I think the Bowie vibes that you were picking up on, I thought were kind of Lennon vibes. The first track to me sounded like it could have been a John Lennon song. And what's the one? What if I can't give you anything but love? Is that the title?
Yeah.
To me, that sounded like Dig a Pony by the Beatles.
Yeah, I like it when he's like more punk. Like I like it when he's playing harder.
But wasn't he doing a lot of piano ballads? So the last,
he came out with She in '98, and you can hear that on the Notting Hill soundtrack. That was like then I think he helped write that Valentine song that McCartney recorded with Joel Walsh playing.
But that's who I want to see. That's Elvis Costello I want to see. The guy just breaking drum sets and shit. Like that's
But I feel like there were a lot of years
70s. He's
still 78 or whatever.
Dude, you could still lightly break a drum set in your like
I don't know if 60s. He has the strength to do that anymore.
It's actually, I'm not even really talking about the drum sets. I'm just talking about AC/DC still rocks. I mean, it doesn't matter how old you are. I'm just saying it's like you could, Iggy Pop. It's like prime example who did a song with him the same year, actually. In France, they recorded something. But, that's the thing. That's the problem is you guys are like Lennon, Bowie, like it's always a reference. I think that's what bothers me a little bit, that it reminds me of a lot of different things, and he doesn't jump out as an artist to me. Like for me, I don't think, oh, that's Elvis. I don't know. I just don't. It just doesn't do
Radio doesn't jump out to you, really?
No, me personally. It's just not. It's me personally. I just don't like him like that. I think it's cool. It's good music. I'm weird, Jeff. That's why we have this show. Otherwise, it'd be just boring guys that love all the same albums.
Like playing that FM station that kept playing Veronica.
Yeah. It came on.
They ruined Elvis Costello for you.
I think they did. And it's funny because it came on after the album finished on Apple Music. And I was like, oh my God, there it goes again. And then I realized it's actually a pretty well structured song, but I just, it's just like, he's great. He is. And he's kind of the anti-pop. I get what he is, and wore a dress, did some crazy shit. Like, I just, I don't know.
Crazy shit.
Didn't he do it on SNL? He wore a dress, right?
Oh, yeah. Well, you remember the other thing he did on SNL? He started a song and then just stopped in the middle because he didn't like the integrity of the song and then switched into, I think, Radio.
Yeah. And I love that. I just, but I'm just not, I mean,
he did it with the Beastie Boys. They started playing, I think, Sabotage or something, and they stopped, and then they brought him out, and they did Radio.
That's fun.
On Saturday Night Live.
He's great, and people respect him, and he's great.
Reference, Anthony.
But I'm not going to go buy a vinyl. I'm not going to go, just not going to go out of my way, to buy his records. I think he's very talented, though. I think I did get his CD.
I like those two together, those two statements. I'm not going to go out of my way to buy his stuff. He's very talented.
He is. That's how I feel about you, Anthony. I'm not going to buy your stuff. I think you're talented. No, that's how I feel about Bruce Springsteen. I think he's very talented, but I'm not going to buy his stuff.
Yeah.
You have a different feeling about Bruce. I think Bruce is very talented. I think he's one of the best songwriters of our generation. I think he's amazing, but I just don't like listening to it.
I don't like listening to it either. Yeah. I'm sure that the songs are structurally sound, but
they're from the heart. They're not structurally sound. I mean, it's he's the blue collar, Bob Dylan of that era. I mean, he's that guy.
He has three of the greatest albums back to back ever recorded.
Yeah, he's great. I'm sure.
What are the three best?
Born to Run, Darkness on the Edge of Town, and The River. You can't get three. I find me three more solid albums in a row that an artist has put out.
We have to do research, but we will. Let me pull from my fake background. This album, actually, and this album, these three. That's an interesting one. We'll play with that concept because I like that concept. Like three in a row. Who do anybody? Nobody's gonna be in Twitch is even listening. But if somebody, here's a message. I can dig this one. Tasty Snacks. Haven't heard this one, but they haven't heard this one, but they like Elvis Costello. So yeah, people like him. He's cool. Yeah. He's I get what he is. To me, what bothered me as a kid is I always felt he was hacking Buddy Holly because of the glasses and everything and the pompadour. So when I was
you don't like Weezer either.
Is that what they're? Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Yeah, but that's I think they're just having fun with that video. But I don't know. It's fun. They're good. He's not a hack. He's great. But I don't like it. It's like, I mean, that's just how I feel. It's like, why did you change me?
I'm really glad. I probably wouldn't have sought this out, or
why did I pick it? Because I'm an excellent producer. Because I want dialogue that doesn't just sound like I don't have to like it to not want to. I mean, I still want to talk about it.
I got to tell you, I think I was overly impressed because, again, it's just like he comes up with over 30 albums, and then his 32nd album is this good. I really think this was an easy listen. This was a fun listen.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he was good. It's good. But yeah, just because the show's more interesting when we don't all agree on the same album. I don't know if you've noticed, but that's usually when we get the most hits. So
let's let Anthony pick an album then.
Wow.
Did he get? Well, you two fighting is hilarious. So it's like, I figured you both like this album, so I had to be the guy. So that's why and I don't hate it. It's just, it's just that. Don't you have music like that you respect the guy, but you don't listen to it? I don't listen to the Beach Boys, but I know they're talented.
I love the Beach Boys.
Of course you do, dude. You were like back then, like rocking it. But it's like
I love Brian Wilson. He's one of my top 5 all-time songwriters.
Don't you have an artist that you respect but you don't listen to? Doesn't anybody? Am I the only one that has that?
I kind of feel like that about David Bowie. I like a lot of David Bowie singles.
You don't listen to Bowie?
I don't.
Anthony,
that's okay.
You're going to give me an aneurysm.
That's okay.
I like Bowie. I have nothing against Bowie. I think he's one of the greatest artists.
I don't listen to tons of Bowie. I get that. It's like
Ziggy Stardust is an album I've listened to.
I listen to Bowie
as
every
an
day.
album. Other than Ziggy Stardust, I don't think there's a full album. I like a bunch of songs, but I rarely even put them on.
You didn't like Let's Dance?
I like Let's Dance just fine.
I hate that song. Let's Dance.
The album is great.
Awful.
You didn't like the Glass Spider album?
I like everything before that, actually. I like it.
I think Let's Dance is a great pop album.
It's okay. It's very 80s. You know how I feel about some of that 80s music. I feel like before that was
purposely made it that way.
No, I know, and that's what I don't like about it.
Commercial success.
That's what I don't like about it. He was going for the gold, and I like the other stuff where he's more of an artist. He had like 6 albums that didn't go anywhere until he hit. Like he definitely put out a lot of albums before anybody took him serious at all. But I get that. That's a great example, Anthony. Thank you for being honest, because I knew that was gonna make Jeff crazy.
I can't take him.
But I like him. I have no problem with Bowie. I respect the hell out of him.
I listen to Bowie every day.
But that
He's great.
Do I have to listen to him every day?
Yes, you do. You don't like? Do you like Young Americans?
I don't know that one.
Oh, come on, Anthony. You don't know Young Americans?
No, I don't know it.
Oh, come on, Anthony. It's in my personal.
Young American. I know that one. That's a good one. Rebel.
I know Rebel.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Heroes, Johnny Depp's favorite song.
Yeah, Heroes. Probably the first time that I heard the song Heroes was when the Wallflowers covered it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That was the first time you heard it, yeah?
That was probably the first time I heard it. I was probably 13 or something when that came. I wasn't. Bowie is one of my mom's favorite artists. So I heard plenty of Bowie.
Did you like, you're a Beatles guy, you like Fame, John Lennon?
Yeah.
Sings on.
I like Changes.
Under Pressure. Changes is great. Suffragette City is a great song.
Great one.
Yeah. So we all like the album. Adam liked it, whatever. And Anthony doesn't have to love Bowie, all right? And that's okay. I have like 3 Bowie shirts, but it's like I get it, but it doesn't.
I respect him more than I listen to him. That's all.
But thank you, because I feel like that's a thing for me. It's like you can respect the art. Like comedian Brian Regan. I think he's really good at what he does. You couldn't pay me to listen to it. I think he's very talented and he's great, but I respect him. I've met him. I've drank with him. He's a great guy, but it's one of those things where I don't find it funny, but I respect what he does.
The way I feel with Sebastian Maniscalco.
Yes, it's like, hey, look, I can eat the spaghetti. It's like it's the hackiest thing. It's like it's Vic DiBitetto. It's Vic DiBitetto is who it is from 1994, but he's better at it, and so now he's huge. I mean, Vic's doing okay too, but he's huge because of it. But yeah, it's the same thing. You get it. But what I was talking about him. And I told Leo, I go, he's like the Larry the Cable Guy for Italians. Like it's like
that's a pretty good analogy.
He is. He's like this over stereotypical kind of like, and they just eat it up. They eat it up. And so it's, I mean, he does talk like that. He is Italian, but he's definitely taking it up a notch, you know. But that's the thing. All right. So we all agree. You can respect someone. I don't know if we have time. Does anybody have it in the chat? Do you respect someone that you don't listen to besides your parents? Ayo.
Maybe someone like Lindsey Buckingham.
Yeah. Jeff Beck. You couldn't pay me to listen to Jeff Beck.
Really? Come on.
I think he's talented. But come on, what? I don't have to have your playlist. That's the beauty of music. I can listen to whatever I want.
You know, I'm going to say this. I feel.
Give me one.
I feel like I should like Led Zeppelin more than I do.
Okay.
You should.
I don't really listen to Led Zeppelin that much.
There's a lot of people who don't like Led Zeppelin.
I don't really care for a lot of their stuff. I like some of it.
I don't.
Rolling Stones too.
Yeah, it's one of those bands.
You guys kill me.
Somebody said Kiss. Kiss, definitely. I get that.
Kiss is designed to be that kind of band. They don't care if you listen to the records.
None of us respect Kiss. We just enjoy them.
Great.
I don't respect them.
Best marketing.
I'm going to Connecticut to see them May 14th.
Of course you do. I saw them live too, but I saw them live. They're not crazy talented. I mean, they're good at being a rock band, but they're not like, you know, the Bowie or anything. They're except for the makeup.
Let me ask something. Would you say they're innovators?
Kiss?
Yes.
In marketing?
I mean,
there's nothing innovative in their music, I don't think.
Alice Cooper was doing that before, right? Like he was kind of doing all that stuff.
Probably at the same time, yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, I think it was kind of exaggeration of that and taking a little bit of that and a little of this. But yeah, I think they're definitely innovative, but that doesn't make them, you know, I don't have to respect them musically that much. You know what I mean? Somebody says Beastie Boys. Wow, that's a weird one. I like the Beastie Boys. It's interesting when someone doesn't. Elvis Costello hijacking the Beastie Boys performance.
Oh, the SNL thing.
That's what Anthony referenced.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I got you. I thought they were like, I don't like the Beastie Boys or something. Okay. Yeah. That's punk rock. I dig all that stuff. Anybody doing weird stuff, tearing up pictures of the Pope, whatever, man. You did SNL. That's cool.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean I'm going to crank up some Elvis Costello when this is over. But
I'm going to pump it up.
But 32 albums is impressive. I mean, that's
By the way, just to say, Dave Neidles just checked in. He's upset. He's trying to get over the Cowboys' heartbreaking loss this past week.
Okay. Well, I am not a Cowboys fan. So that's one thing that got me through losing as a Steelers fan is that the Cowboys lost. And so I was like, as long as the Cowboys lose, the Patriots and the Cowboys lost, and the Browns and the Ravens are out. As long as Tennessee smashes the Bengals, then my season's okay. And then we just concentrate on finding another quarterback. Hopefully it's Rodgers or Wilson. All right. Well, everybody, have a good football weekend. Thank you for listening and hanging out with us here at Dustin's Vinyl. Support a record store, and it's okay to respect somebody and not listen to them. So be okay with that conversation.
But not Bowie, Anthony.
Except
not
Jeff.
Bowie.
Unless Jeff likes them, then it's a whole other thing. If Jeff likes them, then you have to like them. You have to like them.
If Bowie is right for you.
Run it by me, and I'll tell you if it's okay
Jeff
to like ignore them or not.
You
Okay.
need his playlist. Okay. Thank you, everybody. You guys are awesome. Rock it out. Woo!